How you doing, everybody? It's Friday the 19th of February 2010 and it's just after lunchtime in the afternoon. Bright sun coming in the window there, as you can see. I just wanted to touch with something. I've been having to think about this for the last couple of days, and it's really to do with this German-Greece situation. But instead of it being Greece, very shortly it's going to become Germany and Ireland. And the reason behind this is I've been looking at a couple of articles, and I've put the links to these articles up here so you can have a wee read of them if you want to. Alright, now one of them in particular is from 2 nights ago, and it's from an evening newspaper here in Ireland, and it's written by their chief economist, a fella called Dan White. I think his name is. Anyway, it basically says that it sort of extrapolates on what I've been saying for months, that we are in a deep crisis, a property crisis. I mean, the bubble has burst and it's nowhere near the bottom. Alright? And it looks like we're not even going to be, it looks like this year we're not going to get to the bottom. Looks like we might have to carry over into 2011 before property prices get anywhere near the bottom. But while they're going down, and while all this crisis unfolds in front of us, what's becoming more and more obvious is the size of the crisis. And what's happening, certainly in Ireland, that I'm aware of, is, as I've told you before, the majority of people don't want to talk about this. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to discuss it. They just, I think they're in deep shock, and I think they believe that by not discussing it or not dealing with it, it's like having a boogeyman in the wardrobe. You know what I mean? As long as you don't open up the door of the wardrobe, you don't have to look at him, but he's still there. The boogeyman is still here, and what's happening is he's slowly getting out. The boogeyman is slowly emerging, and he will finally have emerged, I think, at the end of this year, sometime in the beginning of next year, 2011. We're going to be getting to the bottom of the levels of property levels in Ireland. And what I've done is I've put the article up from this fella Dan White. Have a wee read of it. It's quite easy to read. And then I've put up an earlier article which was from this fella Brendan Keenan, who's the leading economist from the independent group, Independent News and Media Group, and he basically was the first one to point out that our retail banks owe 420 billion. That's their total loan book. That's the size of their total loan book. It's a debate whether or not it's 420 billion or 440 billion, but it doesn't matter. These are the banks that are on the street, you know, the retail banks, not the investment banks. They owe another colossal amount of money. But I'm talking about the retail banks. Okay, the retail banks, the total loan book is approximately between 420 and 440 billion. And again, there's a disputed amount how much of that went into property, but it doesn't matter. It's between 150 and 200 billion of it went into property. Alright, so you have loans on the Irish retail banks of between 150 and 200 billion. That's commercial loans and private loans for private mortgages, secured against mortgages, secured against this property. And this property has gone from 100 units, what it was 3 years ago, and it's now down to about 50 units, and it's fallen even further. Alright, and it's going to end up at about 30 units. That's what it's going to end up at, between 30 35 units, something like that. So it's going to basically devalue by about 66%, the whole thing. Alright, and initially our banks have to take that hit, but subsequent to that, the people that loaned our banks some money, they have to take the hit, And the biggest lender we have is Germany. I used to think it was America or Japan or part of that carry trade. No. It's Germany. And I happened to be talking yesterday to someone who knows that banking business quite well. And he was telling me that a lot of the banks, these are not huge German banks. These are not massive German banks. A lot of these banks are like provincial banks inside Germany. They would have a sort of a profile like community banks or like what do you call them, credit unions. That's what they're like, these banks. And I'm telling you this, that money is gone. The money that they loan the Irish banks is gone. I don't know how they're ever going to get it back. It's gone. And where it is, people have asked me where is it. I said a lot of the profits went back up the triangle. A lot of it's ended up back where what would I call it, the elite in Irish society, the elite in European society, and the elite in United States society have some of that money, but a lot of it is in Legoland, and the Legoland is the 300,000. Imagine 300,000 houses are all over Ireland empty at this present time, made out of Lego money, bricks. Instead of having bricks, they have big clumps of money, German money that the Germans loaned us, and we used them as bricks to build these Lego castles that we have all around Ireland. 300,000 of them. That's where the money is. That's where another big tranche of the money is, just sitting down there. So I think what may happen is, I don't know how it'll work out, but I think what will happen is the Germans will end up owning that property. I have a funny feeling something like this is going to happen. There's going to have to be something like this done. How we cannot pay the money back. The money is colossal. The estimate from the Brendan Keenan article is that we owe between 150 and 200 billion to Germany. They want that money back. These are small banks. It's secured by bonds. Our banks at the end of this year are going to go belly up. They will be taken over by our state. Where's our state going to get that sort of money? Our state at the end of this year will owe 150 billion. That's our balance of payments. Our state balance of payments will be 150 billion at the end of this year. We're already borrowing 54 billion from NAMA to support our banks. Our banks are basket cases, they're gone. Our retail banks are gone. But what's happening is, after they're taken over as private entities by the state, and they become entities relating to the state has no way of paying back the money that it owes this colossal sums of money that's borrowed from the German people. And this is German, this is private money. This is not from the German state. This is private money. And ordinary German people are going to be up in arms when this becomes obvious. They loaned this money, and this money was all squandered on Legoland. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I have a funny feeling that the Germans are going to end up owning a large percentage of Irish property. There's no other way around it. There's no other way around this. That's where the money went. The money went into property. A large percentage of this money that the Germans loaned us went into property. And I have a funny feeling that is indeed what's going to happen. But one way or another, the German economy is going to be in trouble. There's no economy in the world can absorb 200 billion of a hit all in one go. It's not possible. So one way or another, there's lots of trouble ahead. If Germany thinks it has problems with Greece, wait until the end of this year. You ain't seen nothing yet.